My name's Pete Bridgwood. I'm a fine art landscape photographer from Nottingham in the UK, and I shoot mainly for print to show in our gallery, and now and again, whenever I can, I try to exhibit as well. I first became aware of Fuji X series with the X100 around 5 years ago now actually, and I saw it at a trade show. And the first thing that I noticed was how nostalgic it made me feel, because it had shutter speed selection dial on the top of it, which was quite something different from all the digital cameras we see today. And historically, I started off my photographic career with all the old film type cameras. And so for me, that was quite a nostalgic regression to see such a beautiful camera coming out as a digital body. It was really the X Pro1 that changed things for me, because with the X Pro1 all of a sudden I was able to change the lenses and use zoom lenses eventually as well. So I was able to keep my entire photographic kit in a little waist bag around my waist, that I could walk onto a wet beach, walk into the sea and keep photographing without having to worry about putting the kit down and get wet. So just that aspect, the portability, was a huge thing. But then as I started using it more and more, and it's difficult to articulate, but there's a certain feel that the X-Trans sensor produces that you can't emulate with any other camera. I then moved to the X-T1, and I've been using that for some time now, and the benefits of that over the X Pro1 were that it's weather sealed, and also you can change the ISO on a little dial on the top, which is fantastic. But the X Pro1 had a charm of its own. The shape of the camera, the way it feels in the hand, and you know that's really important for landscape photographers. What we're trying to do is we're trying to imbibe the spirit of place when we're out there photographing in the landscape, and anything that allows you to do that in a better way is beneficial. So if you can feel more at one with your camera, the more love you have for the camera, and really that's not too strong a word to use, then it benefits you in creating the final print. And the X Pro1 was a beautiful camera to use, so I'm thrilled to see all those benefits that have gone into the X-T1 come into the X Pro2 and some. Principally, all the benefits of the X-T1 have been carried over into the X Pro series. Weather sealing, the ability to choose the ISO on a mechanical top dial, and the general feel of the X Pro1 has been maintained. So it's still got that lovely charm without any change in shape or size. All the important buttons are in the same places, but the main advantage is that it's now 24 megapixels, which gives us an unparalleled ability to make images of a huge size and maintain image quality. And also we've got an increased ability to be able to crop them, which is something that we often do in post-processing. So it frees up a lot of creativity that we didn't have before. So I think X series cameras have helped me in three ways really as a landscape photographer. Firstly, obviously they're smaller, they're lighter, so they're easier to carry into hostile environments like at the coast. Secondly, there's a tactile feel to X series cameras. Sure, there's the nostalgic ability to be able to alter the shutter speed and the aperture manually and on the mechanical dials, but it's more than that. The camera itself feels great to use. It's actually a joyful thing to use, and it makes you feel happier in the environment that you're in, and even a subtle change along those lines can benefit you when you're trying to be creative and open up creative space. And then the third way is in the processing. The images have a certain feel to them that's unobtainable using any other type of camera, in my opinion, and that translates through to the final print. And what we're doing when we're making a print, really at a deepest level, is we're trying to translate all that multi-sensory experience that we get on location. Feel what we see, what we hear, we smell and taste, and then we're trying to translate that through a single visual conduit so that the viewer of the print can then imbibe all that information and get moved in the same way that we were moved when we're at the scene. The other thing I think we should mention is that FUJIFILM have a fantastic history in terms of lens design, and the lenses for the X series are awesome pieces of kit. And with the 24 megapixel improvement that we have with the X Pro2, what that's going to do is open up an entirely new level of image quality across the range. So whatever lenses people have already got, they'll be functioning as better lenses. So I think, over the past 5 years, my photography's changed. Photography has always been about aesthetics, especially landscape, fine art landscape genre. But the aesthetic isn't just confined to the viewer looking at the print in an exhibition or in a magazine. The aesthetic is something that can be experienced by the photographer as well. And by that, what I mean is the photographer can actually enjoy the experience more or less, depending on the kind of camera they're using and depending on the entire process and the system of cameras that they're using. And what Fuji X series has enabled me to do is to really enjoy my photography far more than I used to. So I have to say a huge personal thank you to Fuji for X series and enabling me the facility to enjoy my photography more, and also allowing me to be part of that journey as an X photographer. It's been fantastic, and I can't wait to see what the next 5 years brings.